Listeners and viewers, and welcome to Conversations with our Bishop for today, the 5th of February, 2026. It's my feast day too, Feast of St. Agatha. Some people don't like it, they think it's so whatever, but I love it, with the history behind it. So we began with the national anthem of our beautiful country, Grenada. Hail Grenada, land of ours. And it is quite obvious because we are about to celebrate the 52nd anniversary of our independence. So many discussions on independence, what it means, how we are growing as a people, and all of that. We're going to have, some reflection on the anthem, at least brief. We've been singing this anthem all the time, but as we get older, it will bring new light to us. Why are you smiling, Bishop? We are all getting on there. But we are grateful because I pray that it brings with it wisdom, and it brings insight, and it brings a joy, to be growing in a particular direction. So good morning to all of you, and we are sincerely sorry for a late start this morning, but I think you will understand that these days come a little closer for Bishop. It's not easy trying to pull everything together, so we can excuse him.
You're talking as if it's my fault.
Really?
I resent that.
So it's not your fault. Okay. Anyway, we are here. Good morning to all of you, and welcome to Conversation. Bishop, it's not your fault.
Well, happy Independence Week and weekend, everybody. Yes, I thought, we sing the anthem, and I like the anthem. I remember when I was appointed, one of the first things I did was to go on social media and look for the anthem and look for this song lyrics, And I remember being quite impressed, as against some other anthems that you hear. There was a cadence to it, and it's really a beautiful anthem. And I always salute it towards the end in my own way. But I just wanted to invite you to meditate with me on some aspects of it, because an anthem is meant to inspire people. It's meant to be something which, when you sing it, you feel connected, you feel purposeful, that it gives you a sense of purpose. And but it also grounds you in your own identity as a people. So when we look at Grenada's anthem, it begins with this sense that the land is ours. The land is ours. This is ours, Grenada. And therefore, you immediately put yourself in a state of identity. So that I was thinking myself that on Independence Day, when there are all these diplomats and so on, unless you're a Grenadian, that first line of the anthem doesn't mean that much. Hail Grenada, land of ours. But if we belong, and if it belongs to us, then that places certain obligations on us. And so the first call of the anthem is to move beyond self. The words that came to mind this morning were the words of John F. Kennedy in that awesome moment of his inauguration, when he said something that echoed with Americans for years to come. Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. And that is a universal invitation. And everybody should be thinking that way. And when we say this land of ours, a lot of people seem to take that, the idea of Grenada and so on. We pledge ourselves to thee. And for them, it seems to be about what can Grenada do for me, when in fact it should be how do we, who claim this land as ours, how do we help to make our own contribution to Grenada as long as we pass through? Because in a sense, we're passing through the land, And whether we pass through for 15 days or for 15 years or 80 years, what contribution have we made? What have we put into the soil of Grenada that can bear fruit later on as our lives unfold? And that is where the third line of the anthem, heads, hearts, and hands in unity. Hearts, heads, and hands. Heads, hearts, and hands, sorry.
Yes.
Heads, hearts, and hands in unity. You know, the writer of the anthem put these three words together. And when you want to think about the depths of things, those three words are important. Heads, are we thinking together? Or are we thinking at all? Because we don't have to think together in the service of our country. We have to be able to know the differences, you know. So you're thinking, you're loving Grenada, you know. And a number of the patriotic songs have that line, I love Grenada, you know. And hands. Hands reminds us that we have to work. We have to do things for Grenada. It's not simply a question of getting together on Independence Day or on the Carnival Day, jumping up and enjoying yourself. It's hands working together, you know, and in unity. In unity. When I come to say to reach our destiny, I have a little challenge from that, because I think sometimes people think our destiny is to be this, that, or the other. But I don't think that our destiny is something that we know, you know. I think our destiny is something that we work out. We work out with each other and with God, you know. But as we're working it out, we're not too sure, you know. In 1973, when the revolution took place, you know, it was 73? No, 79, sorry. 79, yes. When the revolution took place, you know, there's a sense in that moment that a lot of people were feeling the unity, but then that began to disappear. But if we have a sense of being Grenadian, and I think that was one of the goals of the revolutionary process, to bring people into a deeper sense of their Grenadian identity, with all the local stuff that was done and the way in which the young people were being brought up to honor Grenada. Still, that has to be in a unity, and if the unity is not there, the destiny becomes all the more clouded. But that destiny is unfolding, you know, unfolding. And there are some moments when we should be asking ourselves, what are we contributing to that destiny? Right now, you know, I smiled the other day when I heard somebody saying about their own native land, you know, this is the greatest place on earth. Actually, I can say who it was. It was the British Prime Minister, you know, and I said to myself, he must be living in colonial days. This is the greatest country on earth. Nobody thinks of Britain in that way anymore.
He belongs there.
But he belongs there, and that's how he thinks. But what is the destiny? If tomorrow he's removed from office, will he think the same way? You know? So there is a point at which, and this is the main thing I want to make in this context, there's a point at which we love our country, but we must also trust God for our country's future. Whatever that future may be. You know, there are places on the face of the earth today which are in serious trouble. But I'm pretty sure that some of them a few decades ago thought they were all right, that they were on a right path when they raised their flags and so on and said, we are now a nation. But today, all kinds of things have intervened to upset the apple cart. And what I want to say here, I hope people take it in the right sense. Whatever the future of Grenada may bring, right? We don't know whether it will bring total success. I am watching what's going on, and I'm very concerned about where we cast our bucket, so to speak, in the sea of this world. Will we cast our bucket in ways that lead us into greater freedom? Yes, but will we also cast it in ways that bring us to deeper discipline? Because without that deeper discipline, the freedom is a waste. We're going to waste it. So our destiny. We want to reach, ever conscious of God. A preacher raised that as one of the main points of his homily the other day. Ever conscious of God. But who is that God? Who is that God? Christians claim that that God is revealed in Jesus Christ. But what is Jesus Christ saying to Grenada today? The Beatitudes, the Ten Commandments, these things we hear, but do we really practice them? We really practice them. And when the anthem goes on to say, being proud of our heritage, what are we teaching our children in school about their heritage? We're still struggling, although Dr. Nicole Dow, her book has opened up parts of that for us. But do parents teach their children about their family heritage? You know, I was very happy the other day to see that there was a conference on the mother of Malcolm X, who is from Grenada. It's
that's a bad Derek's area there.
La Digue, yes. You know, I mean, the children of that village should be proud of the heritage, but somebody has to talk to them about it. You know, somebody has to talk to them about it. And there are so many other parts of Grenada where that heritage can shine forth. You know, Munich, one of the early settlements after slavery. You know, I mean, those are things which we ought to know.
Farin and cassava.
Yes.
The best.
And I love a good poem. So I don't want to keep this going all the time, but I think it's important for us to ponder these things. One part of the anthem says we aspire, build, advance, and then that becomes part of the national emblem. As one people, we aspire, build, and advance. You know? So, brothers and sisters, sometime over this weekend, think the anthem, pray the anthem, you know. We have a practice on these occasions that we sing the anthem at some point in the Mass. Perhaps it would be a good thing to just sit. And if you have one of those screens, just to flash the words of the anthem on the screen, you know. And then, after you have thought about it, meditated on it for a while, then to sing it lustily. Hail Grenada.
Yes. May I just add just 2 points to what you said? The writer of that, or national anthem, who is now deceased, is Hervé Merle Baptiste Blackett. And they said while she was walking along Montjolo Road, she was inspired to write. You know, I guess this is so awesome. But the music was composed by Louis Arnold Masanto, you know. And they said Hervé herself was a teacher. And she was awarded the Camahon Silver Award in 2009. But the themes, as you were speaking about, there are many other national anthems, but they speak of the land, of the people, of the rivers, of, you know, the naturalness of the land. But Hervé was taken in a totally different direction. To speak of the depth of what it should be
commitment.
Like for the country. And I'm saying that you are speaking of all of these things, but the country cannot exist without, I always go back to families. You speak of the heritage, of the village, of the communities, central. And that those who aspire, all of us should be making our contribution to this nation. And those who offer themselves for public office, the experience of your own journey as a person of faith, I want to put it that way, because this anthem calls for faith, really, that you are not just serving because you're a good person, you have talents, you have abilities, but where do these come from? It has a hinge, and the national anthem did not hesitate to anchor us in God And he is the one that will bring the unity, you know, with heads, hearts, and all of that this anthem offers to us. So as Bishop said, I think it would be a good thing not just to sing it as we are accustomed. And another thing that I'm concerned about, when we go to these national events, you have one person singing the anthem. I mean, I want to sing my anthem. Everybody should be singing that anthem lustily when we gather together as one people. And I miss that very much, because I don't know if that is an American trend or where it's coming from. But I honestly believe that we should be singing our anthem as a people, as a nation, because this is our anthem. You say one says the best country in the world, he can say that because he belongs there. We could say Grenada is the best in the world. You could say Trinidad is the best.
No, I would say Grenada is the best in the world. No,
you choose Grenada.
Don't pigeonhole me now, my dear.
You know, but that's one of my concerns, that this is just becoming an individualistic, a lovely voice and all of that. But at the same time, we welcome that. But I believe that we should be all singing the anthem when we gather together as a people. That's my suggestion. So we can move. All right. So in that light, we have had the national service at St. Peter's Grove on Sunday gone. It had its own additions to it, and shifting all the time with additions and creativity and all of that to the whole form of these services, I guess, with time. And we also have the opportunity Sunday coming, as Bishop has it, as 2 Sundays, Sunday gone and Sunday the 8th. You know, various parishes would like to celebrate in that light.
I think we have to thank all those who contribute to these services. Whichever church you go to, invariably some group from the church plays a major role. We have the public officials doing the readings, GG, PM, and leader of the opposition. A recent, I think it's about 3 or 4 years ago, when the CCG decided that we had to have some children, some cultural item involved in it. And that always brings the occasion alive, you know, because so often the normal form of service drags. It depends on a number of items. But at the end of this time, the children of the 2 primary schools in Guelph, Catholic and Anglican, they came out. The Seventh-day Adventist group came out. There was another evangelistic choir that came out. But it was that session at the end which really lifted the whole tone and allowed people to leave with a sense of joy. I think it is important to involve the next generations, whether they be teenagers or children, in these occasions. And it's a challenge to the CCG and to the government to find ways to make these occasions more all-encompassing, that many people come out to them. It is not enough to say we're having a church service and then we're not too sure how many people are coming. And I want to make this little plea, because I think in our Catholic communities, it would be good if people dropped other things and went to the service, or if the parish provided a bus for some people to go, you know, so that people come and be a part of it.
Okay, so as we celebrate under the theme, anchored in faith, guided by purpose. I didn't hear the full sharing of the pastor who was selected to do the
Seventh-day Adventists from Archibald Street.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So I think we've exhausted a bit in terms of, for now, the limited time we have, because you have deepening our independence as we celebrate on the 7th.
I just want to make a point on that.
Okay.
Because when you're doing something every year at a national level, people tend to look to make things exciting. And what happens at the National Stadium has its own excitement. The
parade.
No, not the parade. There's the whole display, the cultural display, arts and crafts and so on. I think every time I pass through that, I'm impressed by what Grenadians are able to do. I mean, your dress is an excellent example of what we're able to do.
Thank you.
You know, and But I think we also have to be asking ourselves during these events, how much are we really able to show our own character? I remember some years ago sitting with the diplomats, and one of the diplomats said to me, you know, we see the same thing in all the countries, you know, and he had served in the Caribbean. And one of the problems we have is that a lot of the items that we sell, especially to tourists, are items which a tourist will see variations of that in every island. You know, taking a coconut shell and doing various things with it, for one example. So I think it's calling for a certain creativity. The government in 2023, I think it was, had a seminar on creativity, the creative economy. Yeah. But what has come out of that? Have people taken advantage of that? One thing that would be very wrong, and I think it was done in 1 or 2 instances, is where you go outside and you get something and you bring it here and you say, this is ours. It's not ours if it wasn't really born here, unless you have put something into it that is absolutely unique. And I just want to challenge Grenada and Grenadians to think about the things that are passing as being from Grenada, and to ask ourselves really, what of those things are genuinely ours? Some people have put aside what they were doing that other people like to participate in simply because there's not enough money in it. You know, I appreciate the need for money, but I also think there's a need to balance that off. There's a young man who is a concrete sculptor, and he's doing some interesting work, but I don't think he's getting much patronage for it. You know? So deepening our independence in all the different ways. The 50th anniversary anthem, I still like it. You know, I still like it. You know, up, higher, higher. You know, so to really identify those things, and one very important thing, and the mistake that we continue to make, is when, if somebody does this and they are not of our color, we don't support it. Or when governments change, whatever was new for one color is ditched and you're waiting for it. No, we have to be able to develop and preserve a heritage that you can see what is happening, how we are growing as a people. And every government must be able to encourage whatever is truly ours.
Wow, this is a good talking point, you know. Yes, so listeners and viewers, this is Conversation with our Bishop. We've been talking independence, how we can grow as a people, and areas that are calling for further development. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we will continue.
Amen.
The cleanest breeze on the waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for. We stand for.
Oh, island in the sun. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. Forged in fire, still reaching for more. Going up, going up, 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 up. Going up, going up, going up, 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 up. We're going higher, going higher. As we aspire, build and fast one people together. Bang, bang, bang. It's only up from it. Take time to reminisce on the richness of our history from the beginning, from the people who came through sugar and change, emancipation.
as one, blessed with the strength to carry on. We're more than just that island in the sun. Tell the world we are brilliant.
Higher, 50 years we're blessed with forging fire.
Oh, you mean?
We going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Inspire, build advances, want people together. Going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up.
Really and truly, can't find the words to describe what my country mean to me. So much things we take for granted, but so much things they give to me. Peace and tranquility, family, community. It no matter where I go in the world, just know that home is where my heart is. 50 years, as you shape for 50 more, as you shape to reach your goal, like you only bring the goal.
I can see the vision clear. Sing it out to let the people hear.
Look at how we've gone and how far we've come.
50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. It's only up from here. More, more, more. Yeah. Higher.
Like that.
Higher.
And higher. And higher.
It's only up. We're going higher. 50 years we're blessed with fortune fire. Still reaching for more.
Forever.
Going up, 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 up.
We made the curry pity matnik.
Talbury. Welcome back, listeners and viewers. What a hit. Going up, up, up. Excellent. At this point, we are going to read you the gospel for the 5th Sunday in Ordinary Time. And the gospel is from Matthew. I think it's a continuation.
Yep,
Matthew
of the
chapter
Sermon on
5,
the
13 to 16. Jesus said to his disciples, "You are the salt of the earth. But if salt becomes tasteless, what can make it salty again? It is good for nothing and can only be thrown out to be trampled underfoot by men. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hilltop cannot be hidden. No one lights a lamp to put it under a tub. They put it on the lampstand where it shines for everyone in the house. In the same way, your light must shine in the sight of men, so that seeing your good works, they may give praise to your Father in heaven." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Well, here we have one of those passages that really bring us to the core of what Scripture really is about. And that is, it is about the one who created everything as our lives unfold. Because one of the things that people forget, or at least I think they never think about it, this world existed for a very long time before we even thought of Scripture. That is something for people to ponder. This world existed for a very long time before we even thought of Scripture. And God was at work, and you have the wonderful image from Jeremiah, it was one of the places, I think Isaiah also picks it up, of this God who is making the world. Making. Paul Keynes Douglas, our wonderful storyteller, he takes the Genesis reading and he has translated it into Grenadianese, if I might use that expression. But the idea of this God who is there working with his hands, creating this world. And therefore, the images, the reality that is in the world is a reality that has come from the hand of God. And in that appreciation of it, we begin to see something, not simply about salt and light, but about what salt and light tells us, as it were, as a message from the one who made it all. So that when we come to the gospel, very often in the gospel text and in the whole biblical text, we are given these words or phrases that challenge us, challenge us to see God in it, to see God in it. So the word today is a very common, two very common images, salt and light. And after he has given us that wonderful sermon on the Beatitudes, happy, he's telling us about what happiness ought to be, how God makes us happy. And then he says to us, if you are happy, then you are the salt of the earth. You are light for the world. So we don't become salt and light. We are not made as salt and light simply to say, well, here I am, God gave me this and that. No. There is purpose to everything that went before. If you are called to be merciful, if you are called to be righteous, to share in the righteousness of God, it is because there is another movement that goes after that. And salt, I hope some of you, even as the reading was being done, you were licking your lips or letting your tongue speak to you in some way about what salt really does. You have food, and the first thing when you put it in your mouth is need some salt. Of course, if you are ill in some way, whether it's diabetes or whatever, you don't take the salt. But the point about salt is what you have to try to enter into more deeply. And for us who are trying to study the scriptures, then you have to ask yourself, not what is salt and light for me now, but what was it like for Jesus? And what was Jesus trying to say to these people about who they are called to be? Over the years, I put it in one simple phrase, to make a difference. To make a difference. But if you want to take the image more literally, salt makes a difference because it affects your taste buds. That's one way. Do you know the other way in which it makes a difference? Because there are two purposes for salt in Jesus' time, and those purposes are to some extent still here in our time for two reasons. One, we know what Jesus' people knew, but there are people still who use it in the same way. Right? And salt is both a transformer of taste, a transformer of the influence of the salt on the ingredients with which it is used, or whatever it is used. And then salt is a preservative. It preserves things. I mean, sometimes if you're using some saltfish, for example, and I remember the first time as a child that I took the saltfish before it was washed. Yeah, before it was soaked, And I was curious, so I still a little piece. Oh God, yuck.
Too much salt.
So that although salt is seasoning, saltfish itself needs to be seasoned in order to bring out the best taste from it. So there's a complexity in the image itself. But as you ponder it, you come to see even more so how we are challenged when you are the salt of the earth. Salt of the earth. Think about it. And then to imagine your earth, where you are at this point in time, do you make that difference where you are at this point in time? Whatever your situation is. And some of us, for example, we come up against tremendous problems and we don't know what to do. A good question to ask yourself is, how can I make a difference in this situation in which I am? Not for my own sake, but for the sake of the other. How can I make a difference? How can I help other people, listen to me carefully, appreciate what is given to them? Because that's what salt does, huh? You put some salt in a meal and it makes it all the better for people to digest. for people to enjoy? And can I, as I live my life, think of that sometimes? Because very often things happen. And the first thing we're concerned about is, oh, how is this affecting me? The Christian question is, how can I affect others by the Christian life that I'm living? So that the reference point for any appreciation or judgment that I make is not me. The reference point is those Beatitudes. How can I so live the Beatitudes that I become salt and light for others? Now, I want to make one point in this regard, with regard to the light. I never thought about it before, but some time ago, I was looking at, and it said that in Jesus' time, right, the way they created fuel was to put the cow dung or the donkey dung and make it into patties. And it is those patties that they used to light. And that's how they got fuel to bake in the ovens, the earth ovens that we still know today. But what preserved the patties was the salt. So there's a direct relationship between salt and light, which I'd never thought of before. I thought it was two different images. In one case you're called to be salt, in another case you're called to be light. But to see that there's an interplay between salt and light here, where the light is preserved, is made more possible because of the salt. To think about that for your own edification, and of course the challenge of living your own Christian life. So salt and light we are called to be. And then the deeper challenge of the light, that your light must shine in the sight of men and women, so that seeing your good works, they may give praise to your Father in heaven. Simple statement. Do you accept it or do you not? Some of us say, yes, I'm a Christian, and people must see me going to Mass and going to church and so on. And that way they know I'm a Christian. That's not what the text says, you know. The text says, seeing your good works. Seeing your good works. What good works are you doing? You know, what good works are you doing? You may be going to church, you may be praying for people and so on and so on. But what are the good works that are flowing from that? If there's no good works flowing from it, I find that a frightening prospect, you know. Because the other day I was just, relaxed, and when I relax like that, I am sometimes moved into prayer. And I found myself saying, you know, I say Mass, I'm there and so on, but what are the good works that I have done, that I've been able to do out of my experience, you know? And it's not easy, because as I think I've said here before, sometimes when you meet those who can become part of your good work, sometimes you don't want them around at all. You know, we're very quick to say we are doing good works, but the real test we fail, because the real test is in loving those who are difficult. The real test is in looking around and seeing what needs to be done. For instance, here in Grenada, a real test is our schools, you know. And it's a test for teachers, it's a test for parents. It's one of the things that I was trying to do, and I still think it's an important thing to do for the church in Grenada. How do I teach the children how to be good works for other children? You think you get me? You know what I mean?
Because as you mentioned that, I thought of the Pontifical Mission Society.
That's an organization.
One of those, you know? One of the movements that, I mean,
yeah,
I know you're speaking in general terms.
No, it's not general terms.
General
I'm speaking very specifically. How do we help particularly our Catholic children, whom we bring to First Communion and Confirmation, to understand that the good works are there in front of them to be done, the good works for the children, who are their fellow students, their classmates, and so on. You know, and you don't have to join an organization to do that. But the organization should be teaching some children how to do it so that those children can lead the way. You know, one of the failures of some of our children's organizations, not here in Grenada, but I've seen it elsewhere, is that you bring the children into church, you honor them, you make them feel blessed by God, and so on and so on. But they don't learn anything about being missionaries themselves, of being apostles themselves, of sharing faith. That expression that we adults use, you know, we have these sharing faith sharing sessions. Children should be able to do that. Children should be encouraged to do that. You know, and you might be surprised at what you hear sometimes.
You know, I agree with a lot of what you said, but I was thinking of the salt. You cannot have too much salt.
Ah, very important point. Expand.
Well, I mean, if the food has too much salt, you spit it out, or if you get just a lump of salt that has not been dissolved. Mm-hmm. So the salt means that you have to lose yourself. You lose. Mm-hmm. So that all the others that you're speaking about, mm-hmm. the potato, the dumplings, whatever is in that mm-hmm. pot, let's think of it mm-hmm. as a pot, everything gets touched by that salt and you enjoy. Mm-hmm. Each one has its own unique taste, you know? Yeah. And
one year I was moved, in fact, to preach just about that. That, you see, we go around thinking that the whole world must become Christian, that everybody must, you know. But no, all they need is a little bit of salt for the purposes to be achieved. And I found myself this morning when I thought of that again, you know, praying, for example, for the members of Parliament, for the business community here, where it is so easy for people to feel that they can't do anything. My native land continues to have a problem with its parliamentary discipline. And all it takes is one person to point out, you see all this bad language all you're using in the parliament? Mm. And if one person stands up and corrects it, they may think that they're wasting time, especially when the senior members get up and talk the same way. But no, you, by that simple thing, in a class, mm-hmm. you know, a student stands up and cusses a teacher. The teacher may even be afraid, because I hear some female teachers saying, "What? He's so much bigger than me." You know. Mm-hmm. But if one other child stands up and points out, "You can't do that to Miss," mm-hmm. and then other children stand up, you have half a class saying to one bully in the class, respect the teacher. Those are the little things that make a difference. So a little bit of salt, you're right.
Yes. So we're going to have to take a break at this point. Listeners and viewers, we are not hearing you. 435-0143. You have opportunities to call. When we come back, a very interesting aspect of our program today, Bishop will speak a bit of his transition and some other aspects that are pertinent to all of us. We take a short break. We'll be right back.
Three islands, one people, loving abundance, emancipation, revolution. We build aspire as one taking us higher. Grenada to the world, Grenada to the world. Everybody shouting. GND to the world. Big we bad and we proud. Let me tell you about our Grenadian. Everyone needs a neighbor. We looking out for each other. When we grow in the culture, let me tell you about 473. Job we fed like we family. Resilient, brilliant, little but we lad.
let we celebrate we sweet GND. Come let we celebrate we 073. Come let we celebrate we sweet GND. Come let we celebrate this my silent country. From the hills to the valleys, the memories live on, running wild through the streets, sucking mango off the ground. Granny say, little boy, you are more than what you know. Hold your head up, fight for a life better than how you grow. From humble homes, we make we name through the trials and pain. Come let me rise.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to Conversation with our Bishop. Just digging the vibes here, man. Really good. So, as I said just before the break, Bishop has will speak to us a bit of, I guess, there are norms for when a bishop retires. There is a procedure, and he'll help us to be able to understand a bit as to what will be happening in the next couple of weeks.
Well, don't rush it. No, I noted on this program outline that I wanted to say something about the bishop's transition. And it's only just now, when I was looking at it again, that I realized I have heard that word transition for part of the death announcements. I ain't dead yet, and I hope I ain't dying soon. Transition here just means moving from one stage to another, from one thing to another. And as I said it 2 years ago, I was supposed to have retired when my 75th birthday came along. My 77th birthday came along, and I still haven't retired. But the nuncio came as part of my 75th birthday experience, 77th birthday experience. And he told me that after discussing with the clergy, the religious, and the laity, that he felt I should leave Grenada. So, and that I was not going to get an extension to that, because part of it in the past usually is that a bishop stays on until a new bishop is appointed. I think that happened with Bishop Sidney Charles. But that is not supposed to happen with me, but it hasn't happened yet, this business of announcing that I am moving out. That's basically what the next stage is, that it should be announced in Rome and here in Grenada that I am moving out, and that somebody else, usually another bishop from another island, is named as apostolic administrator. From the time you hear the word apostolic, you know he's a bishop. So here we are waiting for that message to come, because it has to be published in Rome. That's a legal process. And then published here as well. And who is taking over? Usually a bishop who will come and assess the situation, and then to name a priest who will run the diocese day to day until a new bishop is named, is appointed. The process is a little bit difficult here because we've had some real problems over the past years, and I stayed on precisely because it was felt that I had the strength to stay on. But now we have to move on, and because the transition is going to require certain things which it's felt that maybe I should not be here when some things happen. So I must admit that in my original commitment to the diocese, I really thought that I was going to be here to usher in somebody as bishop after me. You realize that's not happening. You feel a little bit uneasy about that, but I have been very clear that over the years, and I want to say this publicly now, that no matter what I may have experienced, I have had a strong sense, even as I have one right now, that the hand of God is guiding, the hand of God is shaping. And it's part of my spirituality. That my spirituality is not that I'm waiting to be saved by God, no. I have allowed myself to see in anything that happens to me, anything and everything, that God has been there shaping, as we were talking earlier on about being shaped. God has been shaping me, I have no doubt about that. I may not like the person I've become. A lot of people don't like the person I've become, so I'm not fooling myself about that. But you have a sense that, and all you can do is hope and pray that the person you are becoming is fit for the kingdom and not for the rubbish heap. You know, that for me has to be part of a fundamental Christian spirituality. And I will say more about that, I hope, later on. How, when, that remains to be seen. I have asked that there should be no public functions as I go, because I think such public functions should have only be taking place if there was a clear movement from one bishop to the next. I don't know how long that will take, so I've not given the permission for any kind of public thing. But sometimes people disobey you, and I'm hearing all kind of rumors one way or the other. But I think that I'm happy in my own skin. And I have grown to love Grenada, to love Grenadians, and even those who may have been on the other side, so to speak, of a relationship, and said things one way or the other. All I know is that even in not responding, and I have to thank all those who were such a great support in my not responding to certain things, I want to thank them. And we will see, because I don't intend to just jump up and leave. I do want at some point in time, particularly with the leadership of the diocese, to report, giving my own perception of where we are and where we ought to be going. It's important that the people of the church prepare for a new bishop, and that's the prayer that we gave out is precisely about that. But one of the things which I think was true when I came is that people didn't know what was expected of them, you know, and that was difficult. So that I began my tenure here with a very wrong impression of what Grenada was about, you know. The nuncio certainly had an impression that was not altogether true. But we've learned, and let us hope that the next transition, the way I put it very simply, and I mean it, I pray to God that the next bishop may be a much better bishop than I have been.
Thank you, Bishop, for expressing. This is just the initial expression of our dialogue. Yes?
Oh, let me say one thing. I mean, I don't know whether we're going to have another program with me and Ruthina, because if today says if tomorrow something happens in Rome, I won't be back next Thursday. So, you know, but there will be some kind of final reporting to the diocese.
Because it's like a normal thing. It's like you're expected to leave a report.
No.
Not here, but you are committed to send a report.
Well, you have a report that you send every 5 years, but to say, no, the Catholic Church is very autocratic. You know, and Pope Francis has been trying to change that, and I'm afraid his death allows some people to attack him and say that he's destroying the hierarchical sense of church and so on, where the bishop is the boss. I agree totally with Pope Francis's call for change, but whether that will come through under Leo is another question, because the unity of the church is what is important. The unity of the church. And that is the primary thing about the church. Unity in love. And if it means that some things are sacrificed or put on the back burner in that search for unity, that is, if it's worthy of Christ, it will come up later on. But the unity, and this is one of the mistakes that some people in this diocese have made. They have not understood how important the unity is, so things were done to fracture that unity.
But you were also to ensure that that unity be kept as bishop.
Yes, and I think I've done that as best as I could. You know.
Okay, so we need to continue the prayers on Bishop.
Yes.
If you say this maybe at the last program, we certainly have to thank you for the experience of sitting with you here in my, I don't know what to call it, my amateur ability. Let me put it that way. Initially, it was not easy, but I think I have grown quite a lot.
Not put on any weight.
A little bit. But, you know, the experience, as you said, I've seen the hand of God in it, regardless, you know, of how it went. So thank you for the exposure of sitting here with you in my own lowly state, if I should use that word, and to be helped in many, many ways. It has been a great challenge in many ways, and it has driven me to research and to, you know, to pray in a deeper sense. I want to thank you for everything that you have given and you have done in this regard. So we pray, as you say, we continue to pray for the new bishop, and the possibility might be for a diocesan administrator to run things. We'll see how life unfolds and what God sees fit for us. Okay, so I don't know. I don't think this is a complete moment, so let me leave this here. I think we're going to be back again at some point. Yes. So, listeners and viewers, you heard the bishop giving us some, you know, directives a bit as to what is likely to happen in the days to come, and to continue to pray for him and for this diocese as the Lord will take us on a path. All right, in the light of this, I know his passion has been very much and continues to be for education, for the Catholic Education Board of Management, seeking to bring them to a different level. And there was an election of the Catholic Teachers Association some weeks ago, and they have now a new executive to man the organization, let's put it that way, because it's a man. It's Chad Walcott,
Chad Welch,
who has been elected as the president of the association, and I think Bishop has the other executive members.
I thought you had them.
Of that.
Yeah. Well, the former chairman has become vice chairman, and Cecilia St. Louis Donald, and then Simone Blackett, Atalia Walcott, Kieran Lickrich. Those are the other executive members that I am aware of. I hope to meet with them in the coming week, but I'm very, very, very concerned that the CTA should become once more an active presence on the Catholic horizon. There's so much work to be done. I want to take this opportunity to thank Mrs. Dialli, Gemma Dialli, for her generosity ever since the former secretary left us, Mrs. Vivek. Gemma has been very quietly advising, taking on various responsibilities, and we thank God for that. So, flowing from that, with the whole business of education, I just heard yesterday about some challenges at Munich Holy Cross RC. I don't know exactly what the full report is. I hope to find that out between today and tomorrow. But I was not surprised when I heard of the kinds of problems that they have, because we have to be so careful in construction these days. A number of people have been pushing me to go ahead with certain things, but I don't rush construction. I don't rush construction at all, because I know the levels of challenge that you have with those things, and once one thing goes wrong, you never know. And we are not masters of the land as much as we may think so. You know, you can, even China, which does such marvels of engineering, has to be careful that over time certain things won't happen. So we have to see what has happened at Holy Cross Munich, and I promise them that insofar as I am able, I will see that something is set in train even before I leave. The CBM also has to be reconstructed. And that has been a headache for me over the years, finding people who are willing to serve on it, but also trying to decide, if you're dealing with all these schools, what's the best way to deal with them, especially when many people are quick to tell you that we don't have to be responsible to you. That's church. But the church has to find a way not only to manage education, but to serve education. And that is something which, and it's all over the region. We have to find ways, because I am convinced that Catholic education remains, in terms of the vision, the best thing for Grenada and for the whole region. You know, we have one or two other churches involved, and some of them are really moving ahead. Because of the number of schools that the Catholic Church has, it's always going to be a challenge and a problem. I want to also invite you to be aware of GADSB, the Grenada Association of Denominational School Boards, which is a wonderful effort to bring the Anglicans, the Methodists, the Presbyterians, all those who have schools together as denominational schools, to see whether we can agree on certain things and set certain standards for the ministry to help us to observe. Oh. Yes, and in acknowledging the outgoing executive, of course I noted that Cecilia St. Louis Donald, who was chairperson of the previous executive, is now on the new executive, but she had some people working with her, I don't remember all their names, but to thank them for their service as well.
Okay. Changes, gotta move on. So, we need also, Bishop, to make mention, as we are about to wrap up the program, we are aware that Sister Paula Lange, who has served as Chancellor at the Chancery for some time, very gentle. She's such a soft, gentle, but woman. And they were administrators of the River Sally Holy Family in
Parish.
Yes, for a long time. Herself and Sister Geraldine did yeoman service up there. And right now, Sister Paula, her funeral is taking place in Trinidad. So we'd like to extend, well, I should leave that to you, Bishop.
No, you can do it in the name of the church.
Because I knew her too, and I found her to be a very, very lovely human being. And,
she was a very gentle person,
yes.
very gentle person.
She walked that way and just
in the
holding
Carmelite spirit.
Yes.
You know, so I knew her to be an administrator at homes for the aged and that sort of thing. So Paula, rest in peace, gal, with Teresa, all the Teresas who have shown forth the Carmelite spirit.
Thank you. Wow.
So
that's it, huh?
As we come to the end, I just want to urge all of you to pray for Grenada. Right? To pray for Grenada, just Grenada. You all know whatever aspect of Grenadian life you want to pray for that now, in this moment with us, and then we'll pray the Lord's Prayer together and end up. Yes. So, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Good afternoon, all, and good afternoon, Mr. Filbert, although we didn't hear you today.
Yes. Okay, so we have Holy Mass in a short while with our Bishop. Thank you, all of our listeners, participants who have journeyed since 2020 with this program with our Bishop, and thank Bishop for being present, making himself present at least almost every week, as long as he could have made it to be here. I want to thank Cheryl and Kison, all of you who have, participated at some form in this program. So God bless you. Velia, thank you, our good friend from Jamaica. She sent her love and regards.
Velia is cute. I have to find a way to keep in touch.
Yes. So thank you, and God bless you. Happy Independence.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest breeze on the waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for. We stand for.
Oh, island in the sun. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. We're going higher. 50 years we're blessed, we're forged in fire. Still reaching for more. Going up, going up, 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 up. Going up, going up, going up, 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 up.
We're going higher. Going higher. As we aspire, build and fast, one people together.
Bang, bang, bang.
It's only up from
It take time to reminisce on the richness of our history from the beginning. From the people who came through sugar and change, emancipation to revolution. More than the speck up on the globe. More than the ice cream and gold. Much more than the knock on the globe. Tell the world we are Grenadians. Oh.
3 islands united as one, blessed with the strength to carry on. We're more than just that island in the sun. Tell the world we are Grenadians.
Higher. 50 years we're blessed, we're forging fire.
Oh, you mean?
We going up, going up, going up, 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 going up, going up, going up, 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 up. Aspire, build advance as one people together. Going up, going up, going up, 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 up. Going up, going up, going up, 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 up.
Really and truly, can't find the words to describe what my country mean to me. So much things we take for granted, but so much things they give to me. Peace and tranquility, family, community. It no matter where I go in the world, just know that the woman's where my heart is. 50 years, as you strive for 50 more, as you strive to reach your goal, like you really bring the goal.